I've got our benchmark 2 over there, which I've just put into a little container. I just find it easier to work out of the little bowl instead of dipping into the container. I have got the auto puller dispenser, which I use for hunting rounds, but for the accuracy of target rounds, I prefer to actually basically hand dispense and dribble. You can buy your little powder ticklers. I prefer to do it myself by hand for these guys. I know every round is absolutely spot on and exactly the same. There's no tolerances. So I've got a little RCBS scales. One of the big things is obviously we need this to be as accurate as possible. So the fan's got to go off. We also need perfectly still. So fan's off, and now I've got to calibrate our scale, zero it off, which is simple as putting everything back to zero and then just adjusting our feet. Double check, nice and close. It's actually out by a little bit, so move that up. It's obviously important to get this right. I mean, it only takes 0.2, 0.4 grains you can be out, and that's enough to ruin a group. But if you're up in your maximum charges, then you can be, you might throw yourself over the maximum powder charge by mistake. So that's spot on there. With my little recipe that I worked out with my target loads the other day, just 21.5 grains of BM2, so we just set this to 2 and go to our 0.5, and that's now ready to measure out. I always put the funnel on the empty one so I know which one's which. And like I said before, we've all seen guys, they've gone to the range or whatever and you've heard a bang but the bullet hasn't gone anywhere. Simply because they've skipped one, just missed one, or they've underpulled. And we've also seen guys where they've double pulled a batch. .5. Easy as that. Move on to the next one. I hate doing this in summer because it gets so hot and stuffy with all the fans off. To get it perfectly still for the scales to work properly. It's as easy as that. Okay, so we've now got our fully charged cases. Our next job to do is to seat the bullet. Before we can do that, we need to work out how far to seat it. So using the Hornady overall length gauge, simple little contraption. I'll show you how to use it and we'll work at our length. For target ammo, a lot of us target shooters will try and get this as close to the lands as possible. So first of all we need to find out where exactly how far the lands are, or where the bullet touches the lands. It's a simple matter. Feeding this through the action. There's a projectile in there. until it's chambered, like so, and then gently just pushing the rod through until you feel contact with the lands, which is what we've got now. Do that up, nice and tight. If we're lucky, the projectile will stay in there. If not, it usually gets stuck in the barrel like it has. Quick tap, projectile's out. Put our projectile back in our special Hornady case, and that there is full length to the lands. So now we use our verniers, we measure that, and then what we'll do is we'll set our die up, and I'll probably set this to about 5/1000ths of an inch off the lands, so it's only a very small jump, and that'll hopefully give us the best accuracy we can get. So there's our overall length gauge. Now in the past, I've actually been measuring my overall length from base of bullet or case to projectile tip, which gives me 2.47 inches of overall length to have that on the lands. Now with machine specs in the factories, your bullet tip points can actually change and vary quite a lot. There could be high spots, low spots, and the variations can be up to 10/1000ths of an inch. So I actually found, whereas I'd measured a couple off that tip to that right length, and I was actually getting a couple that were jamming into the lands, and then you'd notice bolt might be hard to lift afterwards. So over in the States, Brownells make a gizmo such as this, a bullet comparator, I believe they're called. And what it is, your bullet projectile goes in, it's specific drilled hole for the caliber, and it'll actually stop at the ogive, which is what the lands do. So that measures bullet to the ogive and gives you a very exact and precise measurement. They're about $50. I had one of the fitters from work knock this up for me, so in a bit of lead time. So it cost me bugger all. So from now on, I'll measure to the lands. My new overall length is now 2.883 to the lands. So we always make note of this, because I'm now using the comparator. So I want these at about 5/1000 inch off the lands. Yeah, all that is, guys, is just a nut with your 308 762 on one side and the 224 5.56 on the other. I've got one there for 308. So I mean, not so important for hunting rifles, because I mean, you reload your hunting rifle, usually your magazine length governs how far out you're going to seat your bullet. But obviously with the fly shooting, target shooting, we're only single loading, so try and get them as close to the lands as possible for the best accuracy. This is our seating die, just a Lee setup. It's the Lee anniversary kit. Only cost, I think, 180, I think it was. It was pretty cheap. It's only a basic first stage press, but does the job. I'm happy with it. So we'll set up our die. We just screw him in. I've already got the other lock nut in there. Depress the camber all the way down, and we screw that down until it touches. So this is going to need a little bit of letting off.